When isn't it time for more Muv-Luv reviews? So this is my video review of the Type 97 Fubuki with 1200mm over-the-horizon cannon. This is another Volks figure in their A3 line. And just going to talk about this, for example. This particular version of the Fubuki is meant to represent a specific scene from Muv-Luv Unlimited, which is the second entry in the Muv-Luv visual novel trilogy. Basically, it's meant to be nice and cut down. They remove certain parts of it so it can more easily use the aforementioned giant-ass gun. And I do like how it is, again, very unique looking and is properly molded. They changed one of the shoulder joints right here to show the faux covering, kind of cloth covering that they put over it. You also have these little sleeves, these little detail sleeves that go over the regular A-lock joints that are used in the hips there. And they're kind of cool. They do sort of prevent the leg from moving too much. I mean, you can still get it moving like this and a little bit out to the side, just like one click out to the side, but other than that they kind of get in the way, so I tend to take them off. Just to let you know, when you're putting these things on there, the side with the little indent is facing backwards. They do have little L's and R's on them, but it's very difficult to actually see those L's and R's. So just go by the little indent on the back there. And similarly, they do have little fill-in parts for the back of the knee. These can just kind of get popped out like that. It's a little peg that goes in there. And yeah, that's your basic Fubuki toy. Not that dissimilar from the regular one. This guy's just a little customized so he can do this one scene. The Fubuki itself is actually the already kind of cut down training version of the Type 94 Shiranui. And you can kind of see these guys are similar in design and of course color. They're both UN base tactical surface fighters. So yeah, getting into some of the articulation themselves. Got a ball joint and a swivel with the neck here. Actually, the ball joint that's at the top where the head meets the neck is really just so you can easily pop the head off and then pop this thing off, because it comes with an extra neck joint. And this neck joint is made just so the figure can look up and be like, "Hey Fubuki, what you doing?" "Oh, I'm just looking at the clouds." Anyway, so yeah, that's going to come in handy later on when I show it with the gun. And they only did that because the A3 figures are very bad at looking up. But anyway, let's put that back on there. Let's talk about the basic articulation. You know, it's pretty good. It's a nice figure. You got your nice good shoulder joint, the A-lock joint in here. The whole thing can actually move in and out a little bit. And you also got bicep swivel. The wrists move. These things do come out, like on all the figures, but there's actually nothing to replace them with. All you get on this figure is this set of hands, which are just for using the big gun. And you got kind of a nice basic elbow joint in there. It should be it is a double joint, but it doesn't quite move all the way up, just because of how the forearm is shaped. This thing does have some improvements over the original Shiranui figures. Like, it does have the removable arm gauntlet things, kind of like on the Revoltech Shiranui figures, where you can take this thing off and then replace it with the open knife holster. But anyway, this guy doesn't have any of that stuff, but it's still there. If you had another one, you could still use it on this figure, so that's kind of nice. You got a good waist joint, just moves in and out. You have it without the skirt armor, and of course without the big cod piece. The hip joints are like basically free to do whatever you want. You can do this, you can get them all the way out like that, and you can feel that clicky of the A-lock joints right there. I appreciate the whole groin area has been completely remolded to show they removed the big kind of cod piece thing. S11 bomb containment unit, or whatever you want to call it. And there actually is no place to put skirt armor on the back, so if you even had another figure, you couldn't just put skirt armor on it. So this guy's kind of stuck like this, but you know, kind of cool, and he's unique like that. You got the double joint in the knees, and also a double joint in the legs here, or in the ankles. You can kind of see. And this one long double A-lock joint. Kind of goes like that. And they do have an ankle tilt. It's a little tight on this figure though. But yeah, you can get it to tilt a little bit. Makes kind of a big push like that when you do it. All right, just gonna take a short break and we're gonna come back and talk about some of the accessories. All right, let's talk accessories and start with ones it doesn't actually come with. So if you have any kind of Shiranui or another Fubuki figure, you can basically just reuse some of its weapons, like, hey, give it the sword. And there you go, sword. Works pretty well. Actually, it's a little loose. I don't know if there's some compatibility issue there. But that still works pretty well. The shoulder pauldrons still have the little removable panel on top. And that's just so you can stick in one of these missile launchers. Again, these come with Shiranui or other releases of the Fubuki. So, yeah, it's a little missile launcher. Stick it in there. And put it back up. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Again, this doesn't come with the figure. This is just if you have these things lying around from other figures. Other figures I need to get around to reviewing. Anyways, so I'm going to take a short break and show you the few accessories this figure actually does come with. So this version of the Fubuki is cut down in more ways than one. Not in just its appearance, but also the number of accessories it comes with. Other than the things that I showed you that were on the figure, all you really get with it is this little cool sensor thing. And it's got a little moving eye. And what looks like little leads for wires, but doesn't actually come with any wires, which is supposed to be used for connecting to the big gun. And we'll get to the big gun. But yeah, it's kind of a cool little thing. Pretty detailed, and it's functional. It's really just there so you can just put it next to the figure. And hey, and you can look up at it and be like, what's up? Anyway, we're going to talk about the kind of the main event, you know, the longest part of the title. And that is the 1,200 millimeter over-the-horizon cannon. Sometimes translated as the trans-horizon cannon. This is a gun that is designed to shoot a very, very long way. It has a range of about 300 miles, and they ended up using it to shoot down a runaway space shuttle that was about to crash into the base. So yeah, this thing is gigantic. It is longer than the figure is tall. It's all plastic. It's pretty light. Still, it's nicely detailed. I especially like the blue that they and blue and white detailing they did on the little antenna on top. Everything looks pretty good. Some of these things are a little bent though. Just kind of the PPC molding there. It's a little imprecise, but I don't know. Still looks pretty good. The barrel is removable. That's just how they get it to fit in the standard A3 figure box. But other than that, gigantic. And so as I mentioned before, this guy doesn't come with many different hands. All you get is just the ones that are on him. Which means that this is one of the few figures where the hand is not actually just connected permanently to the gun handle. And so you gotta just kind of work this thing in there. It does go in there pretty easily. The only problem is that without being connected, it doesn't actually grip it that well. And also the thing is kind of too big for it to wield properly. It's not supposed to wield it like this anyway. It's supposed to just sit prone behind it. And I did take a few pictures of it actually holding the gun up. But for the most part, it's really just meant for you to have this guy down prone so he can wield it that way. And that's where the head, the extra head or extra neck comes into play. But it is still pretty cool. The only thing I would caution you with is little bipod pieces here. They just peg in, but the way they do it is to make sure you do it right each time. The pegs are different diameters, so that means that the hole actually is like wider on one side and smaller on the other, and it goes like all the way through. But it means that these don't quite push in all the way because like one side is slightly bigger or smaller than the other one. But other than that, it does work pretty well. It just sometimes they'll pop off if you're not careful. But you can stick them back on. Yeah, so this thing is huge, huge. Much bigger than the pilot who actually made the shot. Anyway, we're going to come back and I'm going to show you the completed setup with the whole cannon and the robot nestled behind it. And here's the whole setup display with the Fubuki wielding the 1200mm over the horizon cannon. As you can see, it's quite impressive and also extremely large. I can just pull out a ruler here for a second. You can see it's well over a foot long altogether. Yeah, it's I think someone measured it out. It was like 45 centimeters. So it's pretty big. Again, you got the little targeting sensor thing, but there's no wires that connect it to the gun like in the visual novel. So that's the only real problem with the display. It's not quite as perfect as it could have been. But this is about as good as Volks could have done it, and it really looks great. Like this is how it was in Muv-Luv Unlimited. And again, because the figure doesn't actually, like the hand isn't actually built into the handle, the whole thing can be nestled up to the gun pretty easily. So you just kind of stick it in there, and it's all set. Pretty easy to get it all set up together, and it just looks great. I mean, what do you want? It's a robot carrying a gun that's bigger than it is, trying to shoot down a runaway space shuttle. Yeah, this is really great. Oops. Well, again, these little bipods are kind of iffy, but you can get them in there. So anyway, I would definitely want to recommend this to fans of the series. The only problem I had with it is it still costs about 6,000 yen or $60 MSRP. I was very fortunate. I got this thing for only 1,500 yen, or about $16 before shipping. I just threw it in with another order, so I think I came out on top there. It is really a great piece. It's very unique in the line, and it just really captured a great moment from Muv-Luv Unlimited in plastic, and just really cool. And the fact that you do get a fully functional Fubuki figure that's very unique in the way that it's cut down with different details and all that really sealed the deal for me. So it's definitely a great set. Alright, so this has been Andrew of CollectionDX.com. Do another Muv-Luv review, and there are more coming. Trust me, there are more coming.